I hope today that we can work together to co-create some ideas, some concepts, and to be able to help chart the future together. We're looking for a holistic solution between curricular, co-curricular, extracurricular activities to develop the whole person concept of honorable in each one of our graduates and our alumni. And today we'll show you some of the tools, and we'll get some hands-on practice. And a matter of fact, I think let's start with that right now. Pat?
All right. Good morning. Situation. There's been a potential donor approach the university, and they brought a sizable gift. Everybody reach underneath your chair. Oh, yes.
I always look under my chair.
Look underneath. If you got an envelope, pull it out. All right. Those people that have an envelope, you are the team leader. Okay? Now, the ladies are handing out the case. Team leaders, what your job is to organize your distinguished group of colleagues. You're going to use the ethical decision action model abbreviated version. All right, the clock starts now. You have 20 minutes. John, what was the value or principle that was driving your decision to?
In terms of the lens, we kind of were trying to blend our lens. So we knew there was a utilitarian aspect that we needed the money,
right.
And we, mostly business.
I see discontent here at the table.
Again, we felt like everything, all the good that could be done through the utilitarian lens and the other lens together.
No, I'm talking deontological. I'm talking about principles that should not be
Violated.
Yes.
Okay. So again, it's the balance of the lenses that kind of then allow you to kind of look at a solution that would potentially meet all of them. Because if you look at it in isolation, you may come up with
Choosing
different
your
answers.
lens makes all the difference.
Oh, absolutely. And
So the purpose of this exercise was just to familiarize you with the tool and to think about how you might be able to use this or a tool like it in your classrooms to draw out some lessons. And the bottom line is, this isn't about coming to the right solution, and nor should it be in your classroom. This person, if they told you they thought about your considerations and they explained to you why they did what they did, you still may not agree, but at least you know they're a thoughtful person and they did make the decision based off some sort of ethical frameworks and rich thinking. That's where I just want to pull back to kind of the purpose of this exercise is to teach students moral metacognitive ability at the end of the day. And if you can find ways to tap into some of this in your classroom, even if it's just, hey, let's just look at the lenses. That's a home run even. If you're
what are in-class activities, what are co-curricular, extracurricular activities, and we're making course on
Table one. High-performing table here. In-class debates and a sequence of point counterpoints, reviewing how professional standards came about, not only just reviewing the professional standards, finding role models to demonstrate executive presence and authenticity, looking at unintended end results of cases, maybe looking at some of the ethical dynamics there, and a crucible event in immersion where they're forced to draw on personal strengths and leading ethics. Team 2. Reinforcing expectations that were established in orientation, having team surprise activities or one-sentence activities where they need to prepare to argue their position. It's judged, it's timed, there's a peer evaluation component. Also, writing a one-page memo where they get a very low grade because the standards are set so high and the expectations are so high. And so it teaches them how to deal with challenges. Team 3 had a great discussion on cultivating intrinsic motivation, linking that back to personal strengths and leading ethically. Team 4 was talked about. I'm sorry, right there. Okay. Team 3. Okay, Team 4.
But for the ideas, not the people.
Team 4 talked about the business simulation. Send the students a midnight email with some kind of crisis, maybe an ethical crisis. They need to make decisions. They have to know how to respond to media should media approach them and force them to think on their feet about whatever the issue is that came up. Profiles of leaders who have faced challenges and having the students write on those and or write on their own experience, similar experiences. Team 5. Over there. Okay. Again, talked about the opportunity for debate and discussion, opportunities to build self-awareness through surveys, worksheets, cases, and other class activities, and looking at aligning the cases and finding the intersection points between the cases and the demonstration of personal strengths, and leading ethically, ways to integrate learning from the disciplines and how that relates back to those concepts, and then building a lab or some other class activity to bridge these disciplines, and then also leveraging alums to reinforce these class messages and to reinforce the connection to the honorable components. Okay, Team 6 came up with some real-life decision scenarios. To make it real, there was an example of a layoff case or situation in a simulated stressful situation. For example, if PowerPoint doesn't work, or the boss doesn't show up, or the electricity goes out, or whatever. I mean, come up with some kind of simulated stressful situation as a way of debriefing this activity. Team 7 talked about establishing a classroom climate. A lot of this happens on the first day of class, so establishing the context for learning, reinforcing the cultural values, and looking at how to deal with challenging experiences. Also important in that setting that class climate is articulating expectations, getting into the shared values and norms. Role modeling, the instructor role modeling the desired behavior and the expectations that are set. And in that first day of class with the syllabus, really reinforcing the expectations, and not only the expectations, but the consequences, what will happen if you don't follow through on these expectations. So then we had Table 8. They talked about a specific case, and this is really useful because we can see how some of these broader topics can be worked into something that's already existing. So we have a tax class, we have the case with Apple, and some ethical issues and dimensions that came up in processing that case. We also have another idea for team in-class debates. There was a regulatory situation, there was a regulatory deficiency, there were 6 alternatives given, and the students then had to sort through and debate whatever they gravitated toward as far as the case that they were making. So this was a useful way to give them different ways and different alternatives to solve their problem, rather than just giving them 2 choices in a team debate situation. So this is kind of a high-level overview of the various teams. And now you need to vote for another table that's not your own, that you think has some of the very best ideas. Maybe some you would use in your own class.
You made us all sound better.
Can I vote for you for that?
How many of you in here use Teams in your class in some shape or form? All right, the vast majority of you. And one thing that I really want to encourage you to think about is, yes, accomplish every single objective and goal you want to accomplish, but what a great opportunity while they're working together in teams to also think about honorable and to find ways to connect back to these concepts as you're already executing those teams. And that might be something as simple as requiring in your syllabus that whatever team deliverable they give you, they also have to write some small reflection on what did I learn about being a team member? What did I learn about leadership? What did I learn about team dynamics? Again, metacognition. We're trying to teach students to think about their thinking and making sure that they're broadening that perspective.